Evening and welcome to the meeting of the St. Peter School Board. It is Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. We are in the governor's room. We'll call the meeting to order. First item up, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We need to consider and adopt the agenda before us in the board book packet online and paper copy in front of you.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Agenda is adopted. Kimberly, any requests to speak? Any requests not to speak? We need to approve the consent agenda. Consent agenda starts on page 3 in your board book packet.
Mr. Chair, I approve the consent agenda as outlined, and I do have a discussion item ultimately.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion about the consent agenda?
Anybody else go first if they have something, but if they don't,
Discussion. I think it's you.
okay. As you may recall, the June board meeting was held a week earlier than normal, and given that there was not adequate time for the business office and me to get in and review the May expenses and wire transfers. Accordingly, we approved it as presented at the June meeting for the May expenses, wire transfers, and so on, with the understanding that I would review that before the July meeting, which I did, along with the June expenses, wire transfers, et cetera, and everything appears to be in order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update.
You bet.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Make an acknowledgement to the business office, Megan and her crew. There's been some staff changes and people retiring and moving, et cetera. They pull things together, manage it beautifully, as always, so good job.
Awesome. All right. No student spotlight since it is summer. We'll move to action items. The first is to consider a resolution to accept gifts, donations, and grants. Dr. Graff.
There are no gifts or donations to accept this month.
We will move to item 2. Consider approval of updating the student activities account signer at Hometown Bank.
So the St. Peter High School activities account is held at Hometown Bank. We have a new person in the office support role for the activities department, and to switch that person over requires board approval. So I would recommend to switch Ellen Davis to the signer for the Hometown Bank activities account, and to replace Zoe Sindelier.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3, consider a resolution authorizing the superintendent to be the identified official with authority for St. Peter Public Schools. Dr. Graff.
That one has your name on it, but I can talk about it.
Oh, sorry.
So access to the EDIUM account for the Minnesota Department of Education requires annual naming of the Iowa, the person with the authority to grant people rights to the account. Traditionally, that is the superintendent. I would recommend that the board reauthorize my access for that.
I was going to say all that.
It's just a test to see. You did great.
Great job.
So now, with that in mind, because you did so well, I'll make that motion for you to be that Iowa.
And I will second the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Only a very lame observation. That's an incredible number of acronyms in one
It
sentence.
is a lot of
That is
acronyms.
ridiculous, actually.
All important. Discussion Discussion, discussion. This is a resolution, so we need to go around the table. Mr. Rosso?
Aye.
Ms. Stewie?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Dixon?
Aye.
Resolution carries. Thank you, Dr. Graff.
Thank you. It's quite an honor.
It is.
Kimberly and I get lots of emails. We need access to
Yep.
this. We need access to this. So it's very helpful.
Item number 4, consider a resolution approving a 10-year long-term facilities maintenance revenue plan for fiscal '28. Megan and Seth, hello. Yeah.
All right, so as required by MDE, we have to bring to our school board every year a 10-year LTFM, long-term facilities maintenance plan. The document that you have in your board packet is a required MDE document that we have to complete and turn into them. We receive $380 per pupil unit in LTFM dollars. It's roughly 50% aid, 50% levy. We then use those funds to repair or replace existing facilities. So parking lots, roofs, envelope of a building, those types of things. And it's broken up into various categories on the application. So there's health and safety, deferred maintenance, and then a few categories that we aren't involved in, accessibility, gender neutral bathrooms, and VPK. So we utilize this money, we create a 10-year plan. We try to the best of our extent to have things planned out in the best fashion that we can. Obviously things happen such as a high school chiller or a roof with hail damage that will impact our plan either positively or negatively. So we put together this plan and then it's going to be in flux as things come or go. As you can see on the document, any red cells on here are going to be inclusive of our district expenses. So repairing things at South and North, obviously across the building, across the district, as well as LTFM expenses related to the middle school building. We do have, and we have had for numerous years, some very large roof expenditures in our 10-year plan based on an assessment done by Schwickert's. So you'll see in the next 10 years, we have roughly $4 million in roofing repairs that we're going to have to make. We're still up in the air with the middle school roofing project and insurance on how that's going to flesh out. So that will definitely impact this plan based on what parts we proceed with repairing the roof, how much of it is covered by insurance, because that could take some significant expenditures out of this plan. But as you can see, the very top section are the expenditures that we plan to have. The bottom section is our fund balance. So starting in 26, that was the budget that was approved last year. We have our 27 budget that you approved, and then it uses our estimated expenditures going forward 10 years.
One thing to know with the LTFM, with the $380 per pupil, that also includes in there the bond, correct?
Yep.
So it's not, the LTFM does not get that full amount. We have to take into account for the bonding too. Once that's done, that is the annual budget that I have to adhere to for making decisions on how to fix things.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would just like to add that the business committee did look at this at their monthly meeting with a greater detail.
Yeah, and at that time, there were no major concerns. It's just great to see a plan
Mm-hmm.
as best that we can do. And so we're all very comfortable with it.
There's no shortage of work to be done,
There is no shortage.
and no shortage of cost associated with it.
None.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. We will proceed to vote. It is a resolution, so we need to go around the table. Mr. Rosso?
Aye.
Ms. Stewie?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Dixon?
Aye.
Resolution carries. Thank you very much to both of you. Item number 5, consider approval of superintendent evaluation summary. We did our annual evaluation for Dr. Graff in his first year as superintendent. We had a closed meeting of the board to discuss that on June 10th. So all board members participated in the feedback. All board members participated in the review of the summary of the feedback and in the discussion that we had with Dr. Graff at the closed meeting. And then I created a summary letter, shared it with all the board, who all had opportunities to give feedback. And so we are officially putting onto the record the evaluation for this year. And just will reiterate that the board is grateful for the work that Dr. Graff has done. We think he has done an exemplary job in his first year as superintendent for our district. And I think that comes through in the evaluation, the feedback that was given. And then I put in the executive summary some of the high levels of performance areas, and then a couple opportunities for future growth that we will, of course, incorporate into this whole process next year when we do it again. Would entertain a motion to approve the summary letter. Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I like the format we did it this year.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I feel like our district is headed in a good direction, and I feel like we kind of captured all of that in this, so if anybody has any questions or anything, obviously, we're not gonna go into all the detail, but I feel really good. I feel like this really represents where we're at and the leadership we have, so.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Graff.
Thank you.
Item number 6, consider approval of master agreement with the operations and maintenance supervisor. Dr. Graff.
The HR committee has reached a tentative agreement with our operations and maintenance supervisor on a 26-27 contract. That contract is for 1 year. The discussion around the 1 year is that contract is off the cycle compared to everybody else. The 1 year puts us back on the cycle, and it also gives us more time to really discuss the position and future wants and needs in terms of what that position really is. So some notable changes in that contract. The first one is changing the title from supervisor to director. So it will now be called the Operations and Maintenance Director. In conversation, it just gives that title a little bit more beef. So when that individual is having conversations with outside entities, contractors and so forth, in those conversations, people were always looking for the next level, and that person was like, I am the top level. So changing the name to reflect more of what the position does. The next one is a 4% increase in the base salary. There's an addition of a stipend for the certified pool, or the pool certification of $1,500. There's an addition of a $7,500 contribution to a VEBA account that can be used toward savings for future health needs or toward family insurance. We've added bereavement leave into that contract, and we've changed some language. The contract was pretty minimalistic, and there were a few pieces that we felt were missing. So we've added duration clause, and what that is if that contract isn't negotiated by, June 30th, it basically says that things stay in effect with the previous contract, just like all of our other contracts have in them. And then the last one is an addition of a grievance procedure. That just wasn't in there, and there wasn't a specific policy that addressed if there was a disagreement. So we essentially brought the grievance procedure from other administrative contracts and moved it over to the operations and maintenance director's contracts. So I would recommend approval of the 26-27 agreement as presented in the board pack.
Thank you.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry.
No, please.
Well, I agree with the title change, I like that. But out of curiosity, is that person the supervisor of all the people, or do we have supervisors that report to the director? Is there, you know what I mean? Is that person the supervisor for all of the custodial staff? Okay.
Yep.
I was just in my head trying
All-
to figure that out.
All buildings and grounds and custodial crew.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So there might be like building leads or something, but
Yep. Each
Okay.
building has a head
Okay.
custodian.
not that it matters, just in my
Just kind of
head,
the
I like to
structure.
For sure.
get that all straightened out.
Yep.
Okay. And I can definitely see that one word would make a difference if, isn't that weird?
It is weird. Titles matter.
Yeah,
Seth is nodding
yeah.
exaggeratedly. Any further discussion?
I'm just going to add that everybody in this room is highly cognizant of that, but for the public that may be watching in vast numbers, as we know, it's been an incredibly busy year for this role, and it'll be continuing that way for the next 18 months or thereabouts. So it's a position that's very critical.
All right, we do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Seth. Item 7, consider approval of the Verizon lease agreement. Dr. Graff.
So the district owns that large tower located adjacent to the football field. And Verizon currently leases that tower for the use so they can put their cell equipment on it. Our current contract or agreement with Verizon runs out June 30th of 2030, but Verizon approached us to already start the conversation of getting the next contract in line. It's been a few months of some back and forth with Verizon, asking questions, kind of really solidifying where that agreement needs to be. But we have been presented with the new agreement, the amendment to the agreement, they call it. And some of the highlights with that are that it will be operating in 5-year terms that begin on July 1st, 2030. There will be an automatic renewal of 4 consecutive 5-year terms, so a length of 20 years beyond 2030. It starts with a $30,000 annual payment, and then each year after that, there will be a 5% increase. The business committee has been a part of those conversations. Our legal team has been a part of those conversations, and we feel like we are in a good spot and would recommend approval of the lease for the tower. That really won't start or change until 2030.
Does that revenue go general operating?
It does.
And do you have a sense of how long we've had that agreement?
Historically, I don't know how far back that goes with
It's a
Verizon.
while as far as I know. I just don't know the,
Yep.
just curious. 20 years? I don't know.
Since the inception of the tower, when it was built, that lease has been in place. I'm not sure the history of when
Yeah.
it was built.
Of note, our current annual amount is more. It's $40,000 currently. In 2030, it will drop, and the rationale behind that is the structure of how cell companies operate now is different. My understanding is you used to have fewer very large towers. Now you have many, many more smaller towers. So that business model to continue to pay that amount just isn't possible.
So it's less valuable, but still valuable.
It's less valuable, but still valuable, and there has been some good movement in those conversations.
Okay.
So, because we all like money, but, so there's like no advantage to like putting that out for like, does T-Mobile want it, or is we just, no, we're not, you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, we did not explore that. I think the general sense, and please help me, business committee, if you have a different opinion, it was, it's a good deal, and we want to make sure that we continue to have people leasing that tower.
Got it, okay. I trust that, but just
And
curious.
Verizon being the company they are, we're confident that they'll be around for a long time.
Okay.
Like in 20 years when the
Like in
deal is
20
still
years.
in place?
Yeah.
I think we explored this before, but in this lease agreement, I'm thinking of this. What if there's a storm or something happens to the tower? We do not understand the cost of repairing that tower, but we assume that it would be sizable, right? And at that point, we might decide, hey, we're out of this game. Can we do that with this agreement? I mean, it would They can't use the tower because it will be gone, but.
That is a good question to ask.
Okay.
We did not approach that.
I mean, I don't see a clause that we're like required to maintain it either. So I just don't know what happens.
Well, yeah, we'd hate
That's
to
a
be
good
in a
question.
contract
That's a
to
great question.
get $30,000 a
Well,
year.
maybe we didn't discuss it, sorry.
We discussed a lot of things, but that did not
Yeah.
come up. And it did not come up through our legal team either. That is
True,
a
you're just that much
great question.
forward thinker.
I don't know.
That might be something.
Well, okay.
We have till 2030.
Yes, that's right. We have until 2030, so we're not under any type of pressure to get this done, other than just to move on, get it off our plate. Perhaps we should just ask it one more question.
Like a force of God type clause that, or whatever
A
it
lot of
is.
times
Force
there'll
majeure.
be some sort of mechanism where either party could release from the agreement.
Yep.
I don't know if this is that type of agreement, but we don't see that here.
Yeah.
Or what's the threshold, or how much damage?
I've been corresponding with an individual from Verizon who's been very responsive, and I'm sure that they will
I mean, they have towers.
point us in the right direction
Right.
and be
towers
completely
are right.
understanding of the pause to make sure that all things are answered.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to follow up on.
Okay, let's table.
Yep.
Do we have a motion?
We don't even
We
have a
don't
motion
have
yet.
a motion. Did we move to table the motion?
I think we're supposed to like have a motion before we start talking, but
Yeah,
That's true.
technically.
Yeah, true.
Why don't you just make a motion to,
Yeah, sure. I'll move to table this agenda action item until a future board meeting, pending a further investigation.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Now's when we're supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think, okay.
Just, Mr. Chair, just a clarification.
Yeah.
Drew, do you want to table that indefinitely, or do you want to defer action to a certain date?
I did not specify a date, so I don't know if you can do that, or if you must specify a date.
They're two different actions, to defer action or table. Table can be indefinite,
It's been tabled.
Yeah,
because we don't have the answer yet, we don't know how long it's going
Yeah.
to take.
we don't know how long it'll take for the
Exactly.
answer.
Yeah, good call.
Okay. Any further discussion? Discussion. All those in favor of the motion to table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll table that pending further information from your buddy at Verizon.
I appreciate the scrutiny on that. That's a great question
It is a
that
great
we
question.
did not
I wish I
dig
would've
into.
thought of it before.
No, that's
Whatever, it
good.
doesn't
Whatever.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Better now than
Not.
when something happens.
Right,
And then,
right.
yep. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Item 8, consider a declaration of obsolete and outdated equipment. Dr. Graff.
Board Policy 802 describes how we dispose of obsolete or outdated equipment. And through that policy, it calls that we bring that to the board for approval. Seth has brought forth a number of items to be placed on auction because they are no longer usable by the district. There's a 2008 Ford pickup. There's desks, chairs, standing desks, and lower tables and chairs. Throughout, just kind of the process of doing business, we as a district have a cycle of getting new furniture. And over time, that furniture stacks up in storage. And when we realize that, hey, we've got enough in storage to cover any broken, we would take it to the board to deem it obsolete. And that's where we're at. So I would recommend approval of the obsolete list.
Does that go to like an auction then, or? Okay.
My understanding is it's an online auction. That
And information can be found if you
Districts.
want to grab onto some of those things. You can find a link to that auction at,
Is it min bid?
What's that?
Is it min bid?
I'm
Not sure.
who marked it. I think he's used K-Did in the past.
Okay.
That sounds
I
familiar.
think there's multiple places you can go through.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a specification of just who you can use.
Okay.
Looking for a Ford pickup?
Well,
Someone might be.
never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought
Yeah.
the schools where we're putting it, so people know.
Good
Do we
comment.
advertise that? Like, are we obligated to then advertise?
Yes. That's gotta get out, advertised, I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
Where.
Okay.
Communication has to be posted in a public place.
No.
Okay.
So,
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned.
so Mr. Sorbo, since I've been
Yep.
in the seat, we've only had one of these, and that was Mr. Sorbo's, I believe, at the last meeting. So Gus would be a good contact to make sure we're following through protocol there.
We do have a motion? Yeah? No, not yet?
Declaration of the sale of obsolete equipment.
Or did you second it? I'll second it.
He's just excited.
He's just excited.
Motion and a
He
second.
wants to get that 2008 Ford pickup.
It's a declaration.
Yeah.
Let's make me laugh.
Of obsolete equipment. Yeah. I declare. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Oh, boy.
Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We know what's obsolete. Next up, consider approval of new position, music intern. Dr. Graff.
So at this month's HR committee meeting, the notes are wrong there. I apologize for that. They reflect the business committee, but it was the HR committee. I presented a proposed position called the music intern, and this internship is really in response to growing numbers, choir numbers at the middle school. We average around 60 to 68 students per section at the middle school. And if you've ever been in a middle school classroom, that's a lot of kids for a single teacher. So at the end of this past school year, Ms. Bergstrom and I sat down and we kind of talked about how that's going. And one of the things that she really talked about was feeling like she wasn't able to provide as good of an education as she wanted to, because it's really hard to differentiate. It's hard to do sectionals with that many students because there's such a large number who aren't necessarily singing when you're breaking off into groups. So we brainstormed some ideas and we modeled this off of an existing partnership that we already have with Gustavus, and that's the communications intern. So in contact with Gustavus, their education department, and they are in favor of this as well, but I'm proposing that we do a music intern. That internship would be provided to a Gustavus student who's in the music education department. They would work for us through the internship program on B and C days. Those are the days that we have choir at the middle school. And they would help to supervise students and really be able to help with sectionals, to be able to break that large number down into small groups to differentiate that learning. Be a great benefit to us, and on the flip side of that, I believe, a very positive experience for a future teacher to learn from one of the best, Brie Bergstrom. That internship, the proposal is that we would offer the intern an $800 stipend per semester, which is a pretty affordable opportunity for the district, should you approve. So we presented this to the HR committee. They recommended moving this forward for full board approval, but we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, I move to approve the motion of adding a new position as a music intern. We did get a chance to talk about this at the HR committee meeting, and we were absolutely in favor. I think we talk a lot, as a board, we talk a lot about building and strengthening partnerships within the community, be it businesses, other organizations in the community, Gustavus being one of them. And I think this is a lovely example of a mutually beneficial arrangement between us and Gustavus. So I think it's great.
Motion and a second. Further discussion.
I hope that we can continue to do more things like this. You know, we've had 2 now, then hopefully, you know, people can be thinking in their departments, different ways they might be able to utilize that.
And the communications has been a really strong program. The interns we've had have done really well. That's cool.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
if I understand it correctly from our discussion at HR, conceivably, if the appropriate person and the appropriate age and the appropriate class were selected, that could be a 2-year role, which would add some stability also to the program.
I think the sticking point for Gustavus will be student class schedules,
Yeah.
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
just to make sure that there's some alignment there. I mean, it's a very specific time,
Yep.
Yeah.
2:30 to 3:10,
Mhm.
that we need the individual.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
be able to
exactly.
work through that.
Yeah. And as Drew just mentioned, the more things we can do with Gustavus, the better.
I agree.
We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I guess we'll see how we navigate through May term. I can envision that possibly continuing to work through a May cycle and also maybe not, but we can navigate that.
Yep, the last few weeks might be difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different.
Yep, yeah, for sure. All right. Without any further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 10, consider approval of 3-year agreement with Adams Mechanical. Dr. Graff.
Adams Mechanical has been our HVAC service provider for a number of years. Adams Mechanical has reached out to us. They would like to do a 3-year contract. Because that is unique, it's been a yearly contract. Because that's unique, we thought it appropriate to bring it to the business committee and the full board for approval. So that contract includes kind of the emergency stuff that happens with HVAC and some of the preventative maintenance. The contract would run from July 1st of this year through June 30, 2029. Year 1 is $110 per hour. That's a 4.8% increase from the current rate. Year 2 is $112 per hour, which is a 1.8% increase. And year 3 is at $114 per hour, also a 1.8% increase. Adams Mechanical does an outstanding job, and we'd love to keep them, and we'd love to lock them in at this very reasonable rate.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
Also something we had a chance to look at with the business committee meeting, and that committee saw that this made a lot of sense. They've been a great partner with us, and this will go a long way to make sure that that partnership continues, and we have the, maybe maintain some personnel assigned to us. Yeah, so it's a good move.
The only question I had was relative to the second page on the contract indicates that if a technician cannot be ascertained within 36 hours, then we're at liberty to hire somebody else to fulfill that need. If that's the case, that's at our expense over and above the contract, I'm assuming?
So the contract, we only pay when they are on site.
Okay.
So it
It's a
would be.
retainer, essentially.
Yep. So there would be, if somebody else came in, we'd pay them and not Adams Mechanical. Because they're only getting paid for the time that they're with us. Yep. Good question.
And again, there's a termination if, I believe it's 2 times that they're unable to provide that service. We can consider a termination.
And we also have the opportunity at the end of every year
Right,
to leave the agreement should we desire.
sure. And given the apparent track record, those are remote risks.
You bet. Yep.
But to your point, if they weren't able to fulfill it and we had to look somewhere else, there's no guarantee it would be a similar cost, right? I mean, it
Right.
could cost more to do it.
Probably considerably less. No, I'm kidding. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any further discussion? We will proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 11, consider approval of updating the finance accountant signer on specific Hometown Bank, Pioneer Bank, and MSDLAF accounts.
So just as we did earlier today to move or to change the signer on our activities account, we are requesting that we do the same for 3 other accounts. As you are aware, B. Ong has retired and Malik Thomas has taken over that position. So we are requesting authorization to have Malik be the signer for our Hometown Bank account, our Pioneer Bank, and the Madsluff account. I think that's how Megan says it, Madsluff. How'd I get it? Midsluff. I'll practice.
Yeah.
It's rounded. If you say it fast, it comes off.
I'll make a motion to approve the updated signers on those accounts.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Further discussion. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congrats to Malik. Item 12, consider policies for approval with a single reading. Dr. Graff.
We have started our policy review cycle over. So if you remember, we've gotten through the 900s, and now we're starting that back over with the 100s. The 100s are all dealing with just kind of the legal status of the school district. They're all very procedural. We were able to make it through all of the 100s at our last policy committee meeting. Those are being brought forth today for a single reading because there are either no or minor changes. And as per our practice, we still bring them forward so that we have record that we have reviewed them in that 3-year cycle. So those policies, we have Policy 101, the legal status of the school district. There are some minor changes to legal references. Policy 101.1, which is the name of the school district, no changes are recommended.
I suggested a few things.
I was like, okay,
We kept it the same.
all right, good.
Policy
For now.
102, equal education opportunity. Once again, no changes are recommended. Policy 103, complaints, students, employees, parents, and other persons. There were some minor grammatical and mechanical updates that needed to be taken care of, and some minor changes to legal references. And lastly, Policy 104, the school district mission and equity statements. There were minor changes to the legal references. So I would recommend your approval of those policies with a single reading.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to information items. Number 1, biannual review of field trips. Dr. Graff.
I'm the backup. The principals are not here today. So Board Policy 610 requires a biannual review of field trips. So our plan is to bring this to the board in July and then again in December. So in Policy 610, it describes the process for approving field trips. So I just want to highlight that and then present you with the list of current field trips. So the policy breaks our field trips down into 3 different categories. We have instructional trips, and those are trips that happen during the school day, and everybody goes. It's just like a day of school, but hey, we're going to do school someplace else. We have supplementary trips. Those are optional trips, typically happen after the school day. Clubs, organizations like that are those optional trips, usually of special interest. And then we have extended field trips, and those involve any travel that is either out of state or out of country. Kind of the procedure is it starts with the teacher or advisor level. They approve the field trip, and then all of these field trips, no matter what category, then have to be approved by the principal. In order to do that, our teachers or advisors, there's a fairly substantial packet, which we went over at the Education Committee, which really defines or details all of the logistics of the field trip. Down from what's it going to cost to, what dates you're going to go, are there any medical concerns, are there any concerns or logistics that we need to think about for students with special needs. just the gamut of things are in that packet. For extended field trips, once the principal approves, then they bring that to the superintendent for final approval. So, are there any questions about the process prior to us getting into the list of field trips? Okay. In your board pack, there are a list of field trips for each building. I can go through those if you'd like me to. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at those. How would you guys like to proceed? It's not a huge list, so we can certainly
Maybe if
go
we just
through
have
it.
Specific questions about any of them?
Okay.
Maybe that's a place to.
Perfect.
We did review them in the education committee, so we did talk about them there.
The one thing I do want to add is that we do have a number of field trips, which I'm excited about. It provides our students with an opportunity to get out into the community and at the high school level, even beyond. So all of our field trips are really designed to be those learning opportunities, to get those real life experiences out in the field, if you will. So we do have a pretty decent list here, which I think is awesome.
I think too, we talked a little bit too about there being like I don't want to say a plan, but kind of more of a plan of like, you know, 5th grade does this, 6th grade does this, and I feel like we're getting a little better at that and getting the experiences for the kids. Because as parents, we all like to think we're going to be able to get to the History Center and do these things, but sometimes it really doesn't happen. But I'm glad it happens for the kids and that we're able to do that. So if anybody has any questions about that, let us know. But by the time your kids gets up to 9th grade, they get to do a lot of things. So it's pretty cool.
Just a clarification, and it's explained here to some extent with funding from parent council, for example, at South or Saints funds at North, et cetera. So I guess my understanding, but just to clarify that, and my apologies for the play on words, but the old No Child Left Behind, which was part of the philosophy of national education a few years back, there's a mechanism for which everybody can participate in regular school day activities, recognizing that athletic camps or language camps, et cetera, are a different issue. But just to clarify that.
Yeah, so the instructional field trips are covered by the district. The way we word our permission slips is essentially, hey, it's going to cost us this much. We'd love you to help us out, but if not, we will always be able to cover that. And it is enlightening, empowering, amazing to see how many families are able to and willing to give a little bit extra to help cover the cost of some families who maybe wouldn't be able to cover that cost. And
So
that's-
is the Saints Fund a different account than the Angel Fund?
the Saints Fund,
Yeah, it's alluded to here.
is that one in Darren's?
Correct.
Yes. I believe the Saints Fund, I think that is their parent
Parent council.
council
Yeah,
fund.
that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Darren's always coming up with fun names. So you'll see that again in December. The reason we want to do that twice is just in case there are questions from the community, from you, and that list might change or grow based on the needs of and ideas of our staff.
Thank you for sharing. It's helpful to see them all.
Yeah. Activities update. Mr. Orcassi. Hello.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got about a month and then it's chaos. So we're hoping that it's not 95 and excessive heat warnings because then we really will be in it. But yeah, thank you for having me up here. Just wanted to go through a little bit of last year and talking kind of where we're at right now as far as a department and moving into next year as well. One thing that I met with the education committee last week, wanted to talk through like our participation numbers. So from 24, 25 to 25, 26, we've been up about 15 students that were participating in an activity. Now these numbers are just those that have registered for an activity. So if they're in a club and it's kind of come and go as you please, or they were in crew and it's not something that they are asked to pay for or strictly register for, those names are not counted. So like for the 403 is actually a pretty low ball number and this is just 9 through 12 students. And it's also individually counted. So it's not if they're involved in 3 things, they're counted 3 times. These are all individual students involved in our activities. Anything from, the football, basketball teams up through the musical and one-act play, and our fine arts, and not NHS, sorry, but Knowledge Bowl, mock trial, those as well. So, which is fantastic. That's over. It's probably around 60 to 75% of our students. And again, probably even number might be a little bit higher when you talk about NHS and Project for Teens and Student Council and crew for the that build the sets on stage and stuff like that. Those numbers keep growing up. So, which is fantastic. It gives kids a chance to be involved in something, which is obviously why we're here, or at least why I'm here. So, I wanted to talk through also our highlights for the year. Overall, it was a very successful 26 season. We had, football went 7-1. Boys soccer was section runner-ups to Tri-City United. Unfortunately, we lost to Mankato East in 4 different section finals. But all of those, so it was girls soccer, girls hockey, boys basketball, and softball. All that was the farthest that they've made it since we'd been moved up to like the higher classification. So pretty exciting to see that. If you were at a lot of those games, especially like the girls hockey game, I've been to a lot of games at the Gustavus Ice Arena, and that was one of the most packed, some of the most packed games I've seen. Same with the boys basketball at Gustavus. So it was a lot of fun atmosphere and a lot of fun to see people in the community coming out and supporting and being involved in it. And then when you add in, the numbers that we sold for the musical with Little Mermaid and stuff like that, we're starting to see a lot of community members continue to come and support our students, which is fantastic. Along with some highlights, we had Joe Connor, state placer at wrestling. We had our first girls wrestler qualify for the state wrestling tournament in Bianca Ortega Nielsen, which was really fun and continues to grow, and our numbers are growing there as well. We had state champs in the True Team Girls Track and Field this spring for the 2nd year in a row. Kira Friedrich was a state champion in cross country as well as in track and field. Parker Maloney, state champion in the discus. So just a really fun and exciting year. And then we just got notification. He'll probably hate me for talking about this, but Coach Portuguese was just nominated as the Minnesota State, or just for the state of Minnesota, the track and field girls coach of the year. Not regardless of class, like this is through their association for the national association, but we just got word of that. So I talked to him earlier this week and shared that with him, and he was pretty excited, obviously, but more to come when we get like the plaque and stuff like that. But very well deserved. We're very, very honored to have him as one of our coaches for the last, how long? Let's do it. You probably know better than, but 36, I think we're going on this fall, which is pretty amazing. So, so that's kind of a highlights of the season. Coming up this next year, this fall, we'll be conducting a MSHSL interest survey with our students at the high school. That's usually we send it out in November when it's a little bit more of a downtime between fall and winter activities. And really just ask what are students interested in, what they've been involved in, what they like to be a part of. It doesn't mean that we're committed to adding or subtracting anything, but it's just kind of a gauge to see where things might be pointing in the future. With the addition that the high school league keeps adding more things and not taking it away, it's just we always kind of got to see where that stream might lead. So that will be happening, and we'll see what comes of it. Obviously, there's a little disclaimer in there that just because there's a lot of people that say they click boys volleyball doesn't mean that we'll be able to support that. But like, it just still gives us a good guidance to maybe see like, is that something we really need to start looking more into than we have in the past. So we've also all of our premier partners letters are out. We've had a lot of new businesses taking opportunities there for some advertisement, which is exciting. And so we got those coming in. And then again, that money just helps to fund our scholarships for our students that want to be in activities that aren't able to afford it, as well as money going to help fund our ECFE program. So moving up to our new year coming up here, looking forward to our new system. We are moving to Bound program, which is called new program for all of our scheduling, all of our registration. Everything should be able to finally be housed in one space instead of saying go to this website for a schedule and then here to register and here for a ticket. Everything should be in one spot. We sent out the information on how to register on Tuesday morning, and it's been seemingly haven't had as many emails as last year, so maybe, I don't know, people just haven't checked theirs and started it, or it seems to be easier. But it does seem to be like it's going to be a good system as far as kind of a one-stop shop, and you can go here to register, check schedules, communication, buy tickets, the whole works. So we're rolling that out, and it's going seems to be going well. As mentioned earlier, thank you for agreeing for the Miss Davis to be able to use the bank account. So it takes a little bit off of my plate, but obviously very excited to have Ellie join us. She's a 2021 grad, daughter of Christy, who was, when I first started this job, was the admin assistant. And so Mom has been coming in to teach her a lot more than I probably can. So it's been fun to see her as well. But we're very excited to have her joining the staff. And then along with that, not really new to the staff, but new as far as their roles. We have 2 new head coaches starting up this year, Maggie Anderson in girls soccer, taking over for Miss Landsteiner, who's stepping away just to be more with her family, and Mr. Cindelier, Coach Cindelier, for Mr. Keating in boys basketball. So both excited. Both were assistant coaches previously, but excited to get them to take over their own programs and continue to lead. And the conversations I've had with them, they're going to be fantastic and more than just the X's and O's. So we're looking forward to what they do. And then other than that, the one big thing that will be coming that you shouldn't really impact us a whole lot, well, 2 things I should say is, one, the process for classification will actually be happening a lot sooner now. In the past, it was usually done in March. Now what they'll be doing is they're going to be taking 2 years and averaging that together, and then being able to give us those numbers and that classification actually here in the fall. So that will give us a good guidance instead of trying to fire drill schedules and homecomings and all this type of stuff from April through May. We'll get those numbers and information back coming up in like September and October. So that will be a nicer change. And then other thing will be the online enrollment. So in the current ruling or current bylaws right now for the high school league is the students that are enrolled in online, if they live in our district, they can participate in our activities. Very similar to a homeschooled student. But the new rule, which will take place a year from now, so the fall of 27, their enrollment will follow, their eligibility, will follow their enrollment. So it will kind of be the chase the money kind of thing, which we don't have a lot of students online right now that are participating in activities, but obviously could happen. So just something to be aware of.
One thought I had on that, Shay, and I'm assuming I'm not speaking, but they can take it would be like a full-time online enrollment.
Correct.
Just to clarify that.
So they would
okay.
basically,
so not that somebody's like, whoa, my kid's taking an online class,
Right.
but
Yep.
it would be a full-time enrollment.
Yeah. So we would lose them as an enrolled student on our record keeping. Yep.
Taking like an online class for sign language or something.
Yes.
Just
Yep.
calm down.
Yeah.
You still can run cross
Yeah.
country.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and whatever
It's a good
that
sport.
number is, that we would deem them to be full time. So it might even be a couple of classes, but yeah, it would be that change. So yeah.
Are you able to source officials fairly readily, or is that a challenge?
Thankfully, we're in an area where there's a lot of them that live in Mankato, so it's not too far for us to get them. It can be a challenge at time, especially when you have like the spring where there's more and more rescheduling than maybe the other seasons, or basketball and everybody's, you have big snowstorm throughout the entire area. Everyone's trying to reschedule a couple of games for the same dates. But overall, we've been fairly lucky. But we also pay for it. So, but being here, you know, and like a lot of them like coming to. One thing I do get a lot of remarks about is like our students are very respectful when they are officiating our games. Our coaches overall, and our you know, they like coming to our gym and reffing there too. So that helps, but it hasn't been terrible yet. But we'll see what the future holds.
You still have a striped shirt if you need it last minute?
Oh yeah, always got one. Got 2 of them in the office. If anybody here looking for something to do on some afternoons, let me know. I can get you a whistle too.
Nobody wants Shay doing that.
No. Absolutely not.
For classifications, are we still like, are we kind of we not on the bubble to go anywhere, or what? I mean, what's your crystal ball telling you, Mr. Orcassi?
We're always going to be on the bubble.
Okay.
Mine, it's hard because I know like where our enrollment is trending, but that doesn't mean but so is potentially other schools as well.
I know you don't.
We're always going to be right on that line. I'm hopeful that we'll be on the better side of the line for us than where we have been for some of our activities, but I don't think we will
The
be.
free and reduced
unfortunately.
lunch applications still play into that too, right? So that's another reason for
Yep.
people to fill those
We want to
out.
continue to push those, absolutely. Yep. And it'll be interesting. Like this is a new thing where doing the 2-year averages instead of waiting for the MDE numbers from this October. But it really overall shouldn't impact, you know, us where we would have been depending on which, you know, model they used. It'll just be interesting to see where we land, because we'll be very close again. You know, we are usually about bottom 10 schools in a lot of our activities right now, as far as the enrollment compared to our other schools. So, but you know, we still continue to do a pretty darn good job. So,
Yeah, we do.
yep. All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item 3, buildings and grounds update. Seth?
Our building and grounds director.
Director.
That's right. That's right.
I remember.
This summer started off a little bit chaotic, and it's kind of keeping going in that direction. But right now, for one of the biggest ones we got going, the high school chiller, right now we're slated to start fixing that or start digging next week, hopefully get that done. My projection is, or my goal is, that is going to be done well before school starts next year. Everything's in. With Shay starting sports in the middle of August, we're running out of time really quick. So I want to make sure everything's in place and going for that, so we don't have any very hot gym sessions in there. So that's one of them. We just had the roof redone at Oshawa, so we have a whole new roof on that one. It looks great. I was just out there today. They did a fantastic job with that one. The entranceway to the high school should be finished next week. They started digging on that last week, found a few issues that caused the problem, fixed them, corrected them. They got it all leveled off, packed, and ready for tar, which is supposed to be slated either late this week or early next week. So that one will be done. The high school or the middle school project, right now, everything still seems to be on time and on budget. You know, there's always things that come up here and there, and just to be expected, because even what we went through last year, a lot of the unexpecteds, we're still running into that on this side, but everybody's dealing with it a lot better this year, since most of the major players, contractors have worked together for over a year. It's going a lot smoother, and things are moving instead of having everybody crunched into one spot and worried about trying to get to that deadline. We got them first, second, third floor roof all at the same time, moving along, and everybody seems to be playing nice so far. So, knock on wood, it stays that way. So, any questions? No?
No, we appreciate the
Yeah.
walkthrough of the middle school. Well, yes, for letting us through there. That was
No.
fascinating to see. It's always great to see that stuff.
Yeah, I encourage you, if you guys want to go, just let me know, let John know, we'll make it happen. Because the more you guys get in there, the more you see it, the more you understand it, and it's a lot easier to explain to people what's going on and why.
Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Putz. Reports. Sadly, no principals were able to be here tonight. Luckily, Darren sent me his report, and
Oh,
yeah, greetings from North Elementary. Yep. Dr. Graff,
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
around the table. Mr. Rosso, any updates or comments?
No new news.
neither.
Yeah, no new news. Mr. Dixon?
Nothing for me.
Any items that we heard a lot about the committees tonight, but any items that committees want to mention that we didn't get said? I think we've referenced work that all the committees are doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Upcoming meetings of the board. Business, Policy, and Education Committees all meet, Business and Policy on August 12th, Education August 13th, and then we are set for the next regular board meeting on August 19th at 5 p.m. It says in parentheses, City Hall. Kimberly better not have jinxed it. So stay tuned, we might be in our new location then. All hope, yeah, it would be great.
There's a very good chance.
Yeah.
If it, for some reason, doesn't happen, we'll make sure that people are notified.
Yes, that we will be here, yeah.
Drew, if I may, you're obviously very familiar with the facility.
Yep.
I knew it back when it was Scholarship America, but now with the renovation, I don't. What part of the building is the conference room in, or the?
I'm not sure what was there before,
Okay.
but if you remember the atrium entrance
Mhm.
to the building,
Mhm.
like right in the center of the building.
Exactly.
If you go through those doors and you take an immediate left, the council chambers are on your left. So the chambers are in the front of the building, right to your left as you're entering the building.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It'd be fun to see it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's really nice.
Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.